What up, guys? We're gonna make a turbo furnace. We got our pressure vessel here selected, picked out. It's this propane tank, and we are right about to crack the valve on this thing so that we can let all the excess residual propane out and not blow ourselves up when we're trying to weld on it. I think we're gonna make some kind of like wood tool so that we can slip it over that valve and then put like a bar through it so we can get some torque on it to just crack it off. We're gonna strap the propane tank to a tree and then put some torque on it with this little tool that we made. Is it gonna work? It'll probably work.
Probably can work.
So this will probably work, right?
This is so just gonna break the wood.
Alright, good. That theory is confirmed. Alright, we had a couple more bad ideas. Vincent's down in the basement trying to make another thing out of wood, and we'll kind of see how that goes. I think he's going to try and clamp it together so it doesn't break. Oh yeah.
There it was.
There it is. Cool, look at that. There's a thing.
It's a dipstick.
It's got the dipstick.
Good.
Yeah, so
Good.
Definitely want to wash this thing out to displace any kind of propane vapors, and we also have a really cool hose. So you can see the propane vapors that are actually coming out of the tank right now. So it's really good that we did this, because if you started cutting it with a grinder, it would probably blow up on us. Yeah, you can actually kind of see it running down the side of the tank because it's heavier than air. It's pretty safe propane disposal method right here. We're work hardening the pressure vessel. It's an important part of the turbo furnace process. Dabs, buddy. Yeah, I should be able to get some wood in there. Okay, so I just kind of ground off the welds here to make it smooth all the way around so that we can get like a pretty good seal. When we go to put the door on, there's not going to be any bumps or anything like that. Pretty nice and smooth. If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't actually cut it on the weld right here. I would cut it maybe somewhere else. Another interesting thing is that there's actually kind of like structural members along the seams here that you could maybe use, like if you didn't cut all the way through it, to maybe like mount a door or something like that. But for now, we're just gonna kind of stick with the plan. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this piece of sheet metal and we're gonna make a door out of it. And basically what we did is we got these hinges, and so we kind of positioned them here, and we're gonna weld it onto the tank and weld it onto the door. And then that will nicely hinge over it. So I'm gonna grind off some more paint and get these welds a little bit more smooth, and then Vincent's gonna figure out how to bend this thing into the shape with his bare hands, and then we're gonna weld it and we'll see what happens after that. Okay, so Vincent's got this thing bent up pretty good, and it pretty much just fits on there totally perfectly. And we're just gonna weld the hinges on it, and we're not even gonna bother cutting it. It's just gonna have plenty of overlap for the door, and I think it's actually gonna make a pretty good seal because we got it pretty smooth and like pretty well shaped to the propane. Yeah.
This is fine.
Kind of see how it fits. How does that feel?
It's fine.
Okay, so we have this big long spring, and we're gonna wrap it around this, and then the other ends are gonna attach to, you're just gonna through bolt it.
Just through bolt,
So
straight through.
just drill some holes and then stand back and let the lulls commence. Is that gonna do 40 psi? I also have this like Kevlar or fiberglass fireplace gasket that came with some adhesive, so we're probably gonna put that underneath there too, just in case, maybe make a little better seal. Let's just throw some of this wood in here and set it on fire and just kind of christen it a little bit. Good. Kind of unshockingly, the fire totally died down when we closed it.
Alright, you ready to supercharge it? All out of air. Let's see if we can fix it.
Oh yeah, well, careful, bud. Definitely getting some heat. You can see it bluing. Did you melt the shop
Just
vac?
a little.
Yeah, so the next step is we're gonna cut a hole in the bottom here, and then we're gonna get some pipe and weld that in there, and then the other end of it's gonna go to the output side of the turbo, or the input compressor side, and then we're probably gonna grind off the top of the propane tank here, and then cut another hole where the valve used to be. Just make this hole basically a little bigger, and then that will go into the turbine side of the turbo, and it should pretty much just rip.